To get started, I'm going to show you 4 statements. Is on? Okay. 4 statements about practice. All right? First one, practice doesn't make perfect. How many of you heard the saying, practice makes perfect? It's not true. All right? This is true. But here's some other things that are true. Improper practice makes imperfect. And the more improper, the more imperfect it is. Then we have proper practice makes progress, or better. But this is the P's make it sound all nice, okay? All right. And then the last one, deliberate practice makes excellence. So today we're going to learn about how deliberate practice makes you excellent when you use the forms and the ideas that it has. Now, so this is our theme for today, deliberate practice. This year when I've been a Toastmaster, I did Let's Being Teachable, Self-Learning, Ultra-Learning, and now deliberate practice. Why? Why did I do this? Because I realized, and I've read it from several different places, and I've shared this quote before, learning how to learn is life's most important skill. How many of you guys know Scott Young is from Ultra Learning, which I had last time? Anybody? He had a blog, and he was blogging about how to help people do things. But over the years, he came to conclude the same thing. So as people get into this, they realize that if you want to become good at things, you need to learn how to learn. Right? So deliberate practice is part of that. Now, this information on deliberate practice actually came from a book. This book was written by Anders Ericsson, and it took 30 years. He took 30 years researching elite performers to find out what they did in order to become elite performers. And he checked all kinds of fields. And then he came to some amazing conclusions. He said, I couldn't believe how common it was for every field, the things people did to become excellent, to become the best. And so he did all this research, even using neuroscience, and came up with this book to show how you can become one of the best. Now, it takes a lot of work to become one of the best. But you can, if you don't want to be the best in the world, you can still use the ideas to improve what you're doing. Okay? So we're just going to talk about here public speaking, but this can be used in a lot of different ways. Oh, by the way, you did notice I put the Romanian version there? So you can get it in town or order it for the English or the Romanian. Now, he talks about 3 types of practice. Okay? And the first one was naive. This is what he came to conclude from all his study, all his research. Naive practice is when you do enough to where I'm good enough. You get okay, you're still comfortable, but you can do it. But you don't really get any better. You just kind of plateau and you stay the same. He said the majority of people practice naively, with ignorance basically, right? That they don't know how to get better. Then the next stage is purposeful. That's when you push yourself to improve by looking at what you can do to get better. Now, what deliberate practice is purposeful practice on steroids. It's really pushing it really to the upper limit of what you can have to do in order to be good, or how to get above what normal people do. Now, here's a definition for deliberate practice. Darius, would you mind reading that for us?
Sure. Deliberate practice is structured practice using proven methods to maximize improvement.
All right, now this is kind of the technical definition. Okay. Now I want to show you another one that I like even a little bit better. Okay. Florian, would you please read that?
Deliberate practice is about learning how to maximize the benefit you get from practicing.
And I really like that. How to maximize the benefit you get from your practice. So learning how to practice in the best way. Now, I'm just going to introduce it. There's no way I can go into much detail. So I put together some links on a PDF, and you'll have some articles, some videos, and even the links to buy the books if you're interested, in here in Romania. Then, here's what I want to point out. You see the second link from the top where it says in depth in the parentheses next to it? If you don't want to read everything, at least read that article. It's very in depth, very long, but it's the best one I found on how to use this deliberate practice for becoming good at public speaking, and also executive presence and storytelling. So read that one for sure. But I guarantee you, you will learn things from everything if you read or watch the videos. There's different things in each one, so you can learn a lot about deliberate practice. Besides, I didn't buy the book, I just looked at the summaries. Okay. Now, in that article, this was one of the things in the article there. Taylor, would you mind reading that for us?
Deliberate practice gradually transfers skills from working memory, which has limited capacity, to procedural memory, which operates automatically. This shift is crucial for complex skills like public speaking, where trying to consciously monitor too many elements simultaneously can lead to cognitive overload.
So there's a whole section on there of neuroscience when it comes to practice. So our brains can only handle so much. And if you want to get better at something, you need to focus on that so the brain can focus on improving the pathways for that. For me, when I started out, I used to practice like trying to remember the words and doing the delivery together when I first started. And I found that very difficult. And I finally got to the point where I said, okay, I'm going to practice getting really comfortable with the words first before I even start practicing my delivery. And then I started practicing, and it was much easier. So you want to make sure, learn how to separate things in order to maximize your benefit from them. Now some core principles, I'm just going to share a few. Seek and evaluate feedback. Focus on one specific goal at a time, and step out of your comfort zone. Now, I switched them around. Most of the articles had set a goal first. But for me, how can you set a goal if you don't know what you want to improve? Right? So that's why I put the feedback first. And I put it kind of different than the book or the stuff you'll read, because I'm making it for what we do here. Okay? There it'll tell you that when you're practicing, you should do immediate feedback, because then you can improve a lot faster. But for us, when we do speeches, we get written feedback, we have an evaluator give us feedback, and we get the video. And so when you get that, you need to figure out how to evaluate it, because not all feedback is good. It's not all the same. And so it becomes important to do that. Now let me move into that actually. So you want to seek and evaluate? Now seeking, one way you can seek is to keep asking your mentor, how about this, show them a video, or say, show them, let me practice in front of you. So getting some feedback from your mentor could be a way of doing it. But then you always need to evaluate, like I said earlier. Now, identify what you need, what you want to improve, what needs to be improved, what's the most important. And this knowledge will take time. You have to learn about public speaking before this will make any sense to you. That's why it's good to have a mentor who has more experience than you. Whoops. Come on. Now what I did is when I did the self-learning, I did a part where I talked about how to evaluate the feedback you get in a meeting. Okay? I put it in a PDF. So if you go, this is our speaker folder in our member resources. If you go to the How to Become Better at Public Speaking folder, and then go into public speaking resources within that folder, you'll see what to do with feedback. And this is something I've developed myself and practice, and it seems to help me a lot. So go to our member resources to find this information. So seek and evaluate feedback. Focus on one specific goal at a time. Now when they say focus in the book, it's like remove your cell phones, get rid of any other people. You're just there and you're totally centered on what you're doing, and you don't allow any distractions. It also goes into how much time you can practice. I won't go into it much, I'll just tell you this. It says up to 90 minutes is maximum for practicing this way, but after 25 minutes you should take a 5-minute break. So you take breaks every half hour. But when you're starting out, I doubt that 90 minutes you will make it that far. It takes a while to get up to that point. All right? And a specific goal, one goal at a time. And that can be really challenging when you're practicing your speech. But like I said, for me, I practice getting the words down first. Then as I practice my delivery, you can focus on one thing. Like if you're having problems with saying ah a lot, then you can practice practice, concentrate and just work and not saying those words, ooh. And over time you'll get better. Now, mental representations models, I'm not going to go into this other than to say what the book says is that before you can do things out here, they need to be in here, okay? So you have to have a mental model before you can actually do it. Right? Now, the better your mental model is, the better you'll be out here. But here's the thing, it's the learning and practicing that helps make it better in here. Coaching, that's one of the best ways you can get better because you have someone with lots of experience and knowledge, and they can help you. But most coaches cost money, all right? So if you don't want to spend money, it's not going to be the best way. But you know, a lot of the Toastmaster World Champions, a lot of them have had coaches, right? Not all, but a lot of them. Then you have mentoring, which we do in the club. I would say mentoring is someone who has more experience than you. It could be just a little, a whole bunch, but just someone who has a better idea than you do, and using them. Like here we have mentors, but even you can consider your evaluator being a mentor as far as the feedback. Okay? Then you have self-learning. And this is the thing, all learning really is self-learning because you have to take it from someone and you have to internalize it yourself. So it's important that you learn how to learn. So we looked at seek and evaluate feedback, focus on one specific goal at a time, and step out of your comfort zone. Here's what that means. It means stepping just outside your comfort zone. Don't go far out of your comfort zone because that just usually makes people frustrated because they can't do it. If I was to say, I'm going to start talking and do my speeches in Romanian, you know how frustrating that would be for me? Because I'm terrible at language. So that's something I wouldn't want to do. But there are things that we can do. So we say, okay, what's the most important next thing? Just getting a bit out there, and then you get that down, and then you get farther out and farther out, step by step. Pas coup pas. Now, here's something people are not comfortable with. Videoing themselves. How many of you don't like watching the videos of yourself? This is one of the ways you have to get out of your comfort zone. You need to video yourself and watch it. Right? Even when you practice at home or when you get the video after the meeting. But force yourself to look at it because that's one of the best tools we have for getting better. Then you have practice in front of a few people. I think I have found this the most helpful thing for me before giving a speech in the club. This is in the past, I haven't done it, but in the past, I would do my speech in front of a few friends, and then when I came to the club, it seemed much easier than before when I didn't do it with somebody before. When I started getting up, going to the district level in speech contests, I went from a few people to more people. What I would do is I'd go to Bucharest, and I've mentioned this in the past. I'd go to Bucharest for a week, and I'd go to 3 club meetings, and I'd practice my speech in front of those 3 clubs. And that was great experience for going in front of 300 to 400 people at a district back then, okay? So this is, I consider, people don't like doing this. Don't let it stop you. Get out of your comfort zone. Learn to use these things. All right, so there's our core principles. Now look at it. It's about dealing with feedback, focus on one goal, and getting out of your comfort zone. Now, you see those there? I'm going to share on the next slide the 3 things that were the core principles from the ultra learning that we looked at last time, just so you can compare them. Okay? High repetition, effective feedback, so feedback, and focused drilling, or focused practicing. So you can see 2 things are the same from both people. And my guess is that he stole a lot of the ideas from the book, okay? All right, so that's a look at it. So that's our look at deliberate practice for today. I really encourage you, I'll put on our WhatsApp group the PDF with the links. And if you guys remind me that if you registered as a guest, I can email it to you. So take a look at that. Start putting some of those things to practice and see what they do for you. So thank you very much.